Hi and welcome to Jermaine Cappuccini's short video about some of our product ranges. I have met some of you, but for those that haven't met me, I'm Tess Walls, Director of Jermaine Cappuccini Australia, and today we're actually going to be talking about our range Glycocure. So whether you're a therapist or a client, I'd love to share with you today the benefits of using glycolic acids on your skin and how you can receive those benefits with Jermaine Cappuccini's range Glycocure. So the first product that we're going to talk about today is called Glycocure Renewing Booster. So this is actually the product here. I call this one my liquid exfoliator. So it's one of the best products that you can use really any time of year just to give the skin a really great renewing and hydrating action within the skin. It actually contains 10% encapsulated glycolic acid. And when we say encapsulated, it means that it's applied to the skin in a hydrating form. So it's actually quite a nice fluid. It comes in a pump and it's a 50 ml size. You can see here it's part of our clinical range. So Synergy Age Glycocure is our clinical range, which means that you get your benefits of cosmeceutical active ingredients. You can see like I'm applying it here on the back of the hands. It goes onto the skin in a light fluid and it's in the form of a serum. So we use this one day or night underneath our actual treatment cream or moisturizer. 1 to 2 pumps is all you need to use of this one, and just keep it outside of the eye area. You don't want to be using it over the eyelid or too close up underneath this thin skin here that we have around the eyes. It's totally fine to use it on expression lines and wrinkles or any other imperfections that you have on the skin. So it will treat things like acne. Once you've cleared the breakouts with our Pure Expert range, you could use Glycocure to work on your scarring of the skin. You can treat wrinkles with this. It will actually help to refine the skin slightly. So I always say, imagine that you want to renew, or you want to almost sandpaper. It's probably the wrong word to use, but you're almost sandpapering like we would timber to actually help take the timber back to new and expose healthy skin that's underneath those surface layers that have possibly been damaged by the sun. So we might have uneven skin tone or wrinkles, like I mentioned. You can also use it for clogging as well. So if you actually have a little bit of clogging down the T-zone in the form of blackheads, or something that we do see sometimes as the cooler weather is upon us, we can see a slight crust forming over the surface of the skin, and almost like our blackheads are trapped underneath. So Glycocure Renewing Booster is a really good one to basically lift that crust off the surface and release or expose that healthy new skin that's sitting underneath. So if you want newer skin, you want to basically feel like you're sandpapering the surface and exposing all of that new skin underneath, then Glycocure Renewing Booster could be the one for you, and we would recommend that you start using this at home underneath your treatment cream. So that is really the first product. Now our second product, or before I move on, I should say it can be used, I think I said before, but it can be used every day. So it can actually be used day and night, or if you have been prescribed this by a therapist, they may have said to you just to use it just of an evening or just once a day, depending on how much of that renewing or sandpapering your skin actually needs. So liquid exfoliant is what I call it, but it is called Glycocure Renewing Booster, and it's a great one for any time of year, but especially as we're approaching winter now, coming into our cooler months. Let's get that renewing action happening. Our second product that we're going to talk about today is this little one here, and it's called Glycocure Intense Renewal Exfoliating Mask. Now, Intense Renewal Exfoliating Mask, I must admit, is one of my favorite products within the range, and it is a really good one that you only would use no more than twice a week. It's not a daily exfoliator, no more than twice a week. I wouldn't use this one if you have sensitive skin. I would only use this one if you were more similar to the skin as what I was talking about before with the booster. So you could use it if you've got clogging, you could use it if you've got deep wrinkles, if you've got pigmentation, if you've got skin where you basically want to sandpaper that surface and actually expose that healthy new skin that's underneath. So this one would be a great one for you to use twice a week. It's what we call a 3-phase exfoliator. So you use around about the size of a 5-cent piece, and I'm just going to this one on the back of my hands, just a small amount. And when you first start actually working it into the skin, you will feel a little slight bead within the product. Now, this is actually what we call more of a mechanical exfoliator. So that's something that basically a little bit of a soft abrasion. It will help if you've got a little bit of clogging. You could use it, really focus on those areas where the extra blackheads are. Or down here on the chin, some of us get those little blackheads that are around that chin area. You can really use it in that area as well. So about a 5-cent piece, spread it all over the skin evenly first, taking it up the neck as well. Leave it outside the eye area, so above the brow and around about to this area here, just where my glasses finish, but on the bone, you just want to use it below that area. And then you can start working those granules slightly in those areas that you want to give some extra work on. So like I mentioned, great for blackheads, or if you've got a little pigment spot, you could use it on that, or just uneven skin tone. You would only circulate working those little granules for around about 30 seconds to a minute, and then leave the mask in place for 5 minutes. So what this then does is, this is where our AHAs, also known as alpha hydroxy acids, or BHAs, which are your beta hydroxy acids, in the form of salicylic acid and glycolic and citric acid, they will start to work and exfoliate. And this is what we call chemical exfoliation. So it doesn't mean it's harsh chemicals on the skin. It just means that rather than having a bead that is working away on the surface, your AHAs and BHAs are actually penetrating down into the skin. And this will actually help to lift all of that dead skin off the surface and give the skin a really deep exfoliator. Now, during this time, the 5 minutes, it actually will start to dry. And mine's just slightly tacky here on the back of my hand, so still a little bit too wet. You know that if you touch the face and it's still a little bit too wet, you need to just leave it in place for a few more minutes. Then once it dries, which is generally about 5 minutes later, you can literally roll all of that dead skin. It's a little bit embarrassing here really, because you can see all of this dead skin coming off on the back of my hands. And you literally can see it. Yes, some of it's product and mask, but it actually has grabbed hold of all of the dead skin that's sitting on the surface. And this will give the skin a deep exfoliation and really help to lift all of that dead skin up. And so what is left underneath, so you do this all over, making sure that you're using lots of nice upward movements and outward movements. So don't push the skin down at all. Gravity's a killer and will always push us down and in. So it's the last thing we want to be doing whenever we're working on the skin, whether it's applying a toning lotion, a cleanser, a moisturizer, a serum, or removing a mask like we are today. Always use nice upward and outward movements for best results. Once you've done that, your skin will then be left nice and clear. And you can see if I roll this off probably can't see from the camera, but it's all actually falling into the little paper that I've got sitting on my lap. And then the back of my hand is left extremely smooth, but also hydrated. So a lot of AHAs and BHAs that are sold are actually quite drying on the skin. We don't see that at all with our Glycocure booster or serum that I spoke about before, or the exfoliating mask. Both of those are incredibly hydrating and plumping. So we get a really great result after using this product. And it gives us the perfect canvas for then applying our toning lotion, serums, treatment creams then afterwards. So there's actually a statistic which is really interesting, that if you exfoliate your skin around about every 3 to 4 days, you will actually stimulate cell renewal, you will keep the skin healthy and rejuvenated, but the big one is you will actually get an increased penetration of your treatment serum or cream. And the stat is that once exfoliation goes past 10 days, your penetration of your treatment cream or serum drops down to approximately 20%. Where if you keep that exfoliation up every 3 to 4 days, or if you're a more delicate skin, then just once a week, your penetration will average between 80 and 100%. So you'll actually get a much better result from your product if you introduce an exfoliation into your routine every 3 to 4 days, we recommend. Now, I just want to be clear that Glycocure is not really designed for a true sensitive skin. We would recommend our Silky Scrub Exfoliator. If you were looking for an exfoliator, it's called Excel Therapy O2, and it's called Silky Scrub. And this is actually an enzyme exfoliant. It comes in a little, some of you may have seen it. I know a lot of Germaine Cappuccini clients are using this one. It's one of our best-selling exfoliants in Australia. It does come from the XL02 range, and it's a little white bottle. Now, it's powder. It is actually a freeze-dried enzyme of pineapple and papaya extract, and it contains also rice. Now, the rice extract is really good for soothing the skin and calming the skin and reducing redness. And the little bottle will make up about 400 mils of product. I've had most clients say that it lasts them, using it twice a week, around about 10 to 12 months. So it's not something you need to be replacing all the time. Some clients even use Silky Scrubs, and it's the enzyme exfoliant, once a week. And then they would use Glycocure, the exfoliating mask that we just did, 3 or 4 days later. So once a week they use Silky Scrub, and then every 3 or 4 days later, then they do the Glycocure. So they're using those 2 different exfoliants, giving their skin an exfoliation twice a week. So Silky Scrub, it's in the XL Therapy O2 range. If you do have more of a sensitive skin, this would be a better one for you. And to be quite honest, or if you're a little bit normal to dry, you don't have a lot of imperfections on the skin is more thinner and finer, then Silky Scrub would be the best one for you to use at home as well. So it's a powder, like I mentioned. You would wet the skin, and then you pour about a 5 cent size just into the palm of the hand. Foam it up with a little bit of water. The reason it's called Silky Scrub is so you create this beautiful silky foam in your hand. And then it's applied to the skin, using it all over the face, keeping it outside the eyes, little circular movements all over. Now, if your skin is quite dehydrated, you'll find that it'll start to drink the foam or the silky foam. So you just add a little bit more water to your hands, and then it will foam up again, and then same action, back onto the skin, work it around for about another 30 seconds or a minute. So it's around about no more than a minute and a half, and then you remove it thoroughly with water. So Silky Scrub, great product, and that is in our XL02 range. And I just wanted to mention that because obviously we're talking about renewing the skin and exfoliating the skin, and I didn't want, if you had sensitive skin, for you to think that Glycocure would be a product that you would use at home. So that's what I'd recommend for you, okay? But for everybody else, you definitely can use the Glycocure products at home. Now, we also have some information cards. This is them here. So if you are seeing a skin therapist, you can ask her for an information card, or by all means, you can certainly contact our head office if you would like some information and some samples on our Glycocure range. Our head office number is 1300 432 100, or you can get more information by visiting the germaindecapuccini.com.au website here in Australia. But these information cards are very important. We have those for most of our ranges here in Australia, and Synergy Age, we like to promote if you are having peels or microdermabrasion within the business, within a salon or spa or possibly a skin clinic, you could use the Synergy Age products that I just mentioned. So the booster and the serum, the mask and the serum, you can use that at home as your home care routine. So this will actually help to take your peel treatments or your microdermabrasion treatments to the next level. So we call this our mini peel or mini micro at home. And absolutely, if you are having micros or peels within the business, you need to be using a product that's going to continue to renew the skin at home. Like I mentioned, I'd use that analogy like if we were working with an old wooden table, we would sandpaper it, and then that would expose all the healthy wood underneath or new wood underneath. So think about glycolics. They are used in the way of sandpapering the skin in a very gentle way. It certainly doesn't cause irritation, but this will then expose new skin underneath. So if you're having peeling treatments or microdermabrasion treatments, you should be using these products at home. The serum on a daily basis underneath your moisturizer as your liquid exfoliant, and it can be used once or twice a day, and the mask, which can be used twice per week. Okay, so when we are renewing the skin, it's incredibly important to then protect the skin with a sunblock. So we highly recommend the Germain de Cappuccini sunscreens. I've got a few here behind me. I'm actually going to start out with our BB cream. So the BB cream, it actually is one of my favorites because it can be worn as a treatment foundation. I wear it every day as my foundation on my skin, and I apply it straight after I put my serum on, my moisturizer on, and then size of a pea of the BB cream. And then I literally just go dot, 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 and then I blend the dots. This one actually will adjust to different color spectrums on the skin. So it's a product that when you first put it on, it can look a little bit milky and a little bit white, but as it picks up the heat in your skin, it will start to change. It contains milk proteins, and milk proteins are anti-inflammatory. So they are fantastic for counteracting the inflammation that we get on our skin with UV rays, but also really good for those sensitive skins. It also contains licorice extract. Now, licorice is a natural cortisone, and it will actually work to reduce redness within the skin or heat within the skin. So if you have a sensitive type of skin or a normal to dry skin, you definitely could use the BB cream. And last but not least, it contains hyaluronic acid. Now, hyaluronic acid, for those that have seen some of my training in the past, it's an ingredient that I rave about. I heavily believe in using hyaluronic acid within the skin. It's in a lot of our toning lotions, which go onto the skin before you put your serum or your moisturizer on. the toning lotions are, Germaine Cappuccini toning lotions are high in hyaluronic acid. So they will flood the skin with lots of moisture. That's what the hyaluronic does. So in the BB cream, it does the same thing. It gives the skin more of a plump effect. It's great if you've got a few little fine lines and wrinkles. It will actually plump the skin. And it's a really great one. I just put a little bit of bronzer on afterwards, a little bit of blush, and it gives me a nice even coverage. Even I've got my family onto this. My mum uses it, my sister uses it. We're actually all completely different skin tones, but because it picks up temperature within your skin and adjusts to different color tones, any skin type can use it. So it's a really good one for that. So BB cream is one of my favorites, and obviously you've got your SPF in there as well. So then another one I wanted to talk about, which is very popular, is our Golden Cress CC cream. So Golden Cress is part of Germaine Cappuccini's SPF range, and these are extremely light. You can probably hear when I shake this one, it's actually got a little mixer inside, and so when this comes out, it's actually a little bit tinted in color, and it looks a little bit dark, but again, it can suit almost any skin type. So it's a really good one. You've got your high protection in this. So you actually have your SPF 50. And we call this, it gives more of a nude effect. So I actually wear this one on the weekend. It's really good when you're out in the sun, you might be at the beach, out on the boat, whatever you do on the weekend. It gives you a really great coverage, and it's a perfect one to actually be using on the weekend if you want a little bit of a light tint, or possibly you've got your skin into a really healthy condition and you don't need to wear any type of, you want a nice light coverage on the skin, and CC cream out of the Golden Cress range is perfect. Now all of the Germaine Cappuccini sunscreens actually have, in the Golden Cress range, they actually have what we call a stem cell protection system. So they help to protect our stem cells. Now stem cells obviously can cause dramatic aging. So damage to the stem cell will accelerate premature aging. So the most important thing that we want to be doing with the skin is, yes, of course, adding vitamins, hyaluronic acids, retinols, all those great ingredients that glycolics that do a really good job increasing our main mechanisms to fight against aging, but to protect the stem cell is an absolutely fundamental way to help halt the aging process. So one of the best things you can do for your skin is to get on to Germaine Cappuccini sunscreens, because not only do they have the stem cell protection, but they also have what we call dark spot fader. So dark spot actually helps to reduce the pigment spots and the uneven skin tone to the skin. So they are anti-aging sunblocks. So we offer them in the CC cream, like I just mentioned. We also have a clear SPF 30 and SPF 50. And we have a sports spray, which is a fantastic water resistant sports spray. This comes in a larger bottle. It's a really good one for your neck and your décolletage, maybe the back of the hands or the shoulder area, especially if you're having any form of skin rejuvenation. So if you're having IPL or any other form of peels or microdermabrasion on the neck and décolletage area, and you don't necessarily want to take your anti-aging sunscreens for the face all the way down onto the deck, you can actually use something like sports spray. So it's just really easy. It comes in a spray, water resistant. Again, something I use every weekend. I love it. So that gives you a little bit more of an idea about our Glycocure range, how it can renew on the skin or renew the skin. Think of that analogy. It's like we're sandpapering an old table, and we're actually revealing all the new wood underneath. And then like you would varnish then that table or possibly put a beeswax or an oil on it to protect it, it's really important that we then protect the skin with an SPF. So if you need any further information, don't hesitate to visit your Germaine de Cappuccini spa or salon, our Germaine de Cappuccini Australia website, that's germaine-de-cappuccini.com.au, has all of the information there on our stockists all around Australia, or by all means, you can call our head office on 1300 432 100, and our friendly staff would be happy to help. Or, you know, like I mentioned, go and visit Germaine de Cappuccini spa or salon or skin clinic, as our therapists are really passionate about helping you improve your skin and getting the best result. So all the best, lovely to talk to, or I should say, thanks for visiting again, and I hope to give you more information in my next video. Thanks so much.